Hi there, it's Barb Pask. I am going to do a still life tonight. This is an 8x10. I went antiquing a couple days ago and I bought a new item. Let me show you. Turn you around and show you. I bought her. I played around with her. I'll show you here. I did paint her face a couple times. Not thrilled with it, so I'm going to try her whole body. As you can see, I propped her up there on a little box, and she's a very old composite doll, got a crackled face, and she did have a little ragged bonnet on her head, but I kind of like the hair. So I think I've got you there where you can see, I hope. And, oh, let me show you. Like I said, I painted her a couple times. This was the first one I did. And I do like the warm background. What I didn't like was the composition. I felt like, too much dress. It was kind of divided in half head, half bodice, and I didn't care for that. So I set up a little 6x6 because I wanted to get, I thought, more of her head. So this was my second chance at it, and again, okay. Didn't love either one of them. Did record it. You won't see it. I deleted it. So we're going to try her whole body. I wasn't going to paint tonight. I was kind of tired, and I got in here playing around with her, and I got a little excited and thought, I think I have to paint her. So if you're watching this, I guess it turned out well enough to show you. Again, my name is Barbara Pask. I'm an artist in Ohio. If you're new to my channel and you have subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, consider that. I paint pretty frequently, and I paint everything. I enjoy painting everything, every subject really, and occasionally some plein air, and I just love it all. I feel really blessed to have it in my life because I'm endlessly excited about it. I love it, and I just want to paint everything. Was really happy to have it in my life during the quarantine, being stuck in the house, and luckily I had a lot of art supplies, and these are canvases that I buy from Dick Blick, and I put a couple coats of gesso on them. Got a little hump there I'm going to kind of knock off. They're really slick when you get them, so I gesso them. All right. I'm going to use my view catcher. If you don't know what that is, it's just a little thing that helps you decide what your composition is going to be. I'm going to set it for an 8x10 vertical. And we'll take a look. I played around with the light too, and I ended up lighting her from the front and kind of below. I think I like that. So we'll take a somewhat smaller brush. I feel like I've got you really cockeyed. Let me move you around a little bit. I think that's straighter. I'll try to look in every now and then and see how it looks to you. Okay, so we've got it set for an 8x10 vertical, and let me look at her through there. I want her to, fill the canvas. She's sitting in, I guess you could say a corner. I've got her in the corner of the screen, so there's a shadow behind her head. Let me look at her here real close. So her head's going to come up pretty high, and her little foot's going to be about there. Okay, this is one of the, this is like doing any figure. I can reach out straight-armed and measure her head, and then go down 2, 3. She's about 4 heads tall, so that would be halfway, so her head should be, assuming that's right, her head should be about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, assuming that's just a guess. So let's consider that. Now I don't want her, of course her body, we got to think about her body's kind of coming out and her legs are hanging down. We're going to start her head off center a little bit. She just talked to me. I picked her up and I don't know. It's not like I needed her, that's for sure. I had a friend suggest that I do a bigger still life and include her in it with a lot of objects, so I may do that. Of course, I'd have to think what works well with her. I'm open to suggestions if you got some suggestions for me. You know, I thought about like a little teacup and saucer, and I don't know. Not the most exciting little dress. And I may even, you know, look for some clothes for her. So then halfway would be, if we look at the whole figure, I'm just trying to get an idea. One would kind of be, that would kind of be below her belly there. Okay. For me, you know, doing this kind of stuff, if you get one thing right to work off of, you can kind of take everything else off of there. And the dress is long, and I rolled it up because I wanted to see her little legs. I like her legs. These are water mixable oils. So I don't use a medium, though I could. They do make them. I just thin with a little water if I need to. Kind of like the figure I did the other day, you know, how far down to the knee and then how far down to the sock. I decided to leave her little socks on. And then I've set her on a box. I don't know how that'll read or what we'll do with that exactly, but I kind of wanted her up, I decided. If you paint still lifes, you know how it is. A lot of decisions made, and sometimes they're wrong. Okay, her hand comes down to about there. This arm goes out. You can't really move it in. Like I said, she's a composite doll, so she's one of those with the fabric body and the composite arms and legs. Looks like one little finger sticking out there. Okay, let me think about this again. I may have her eyes. You know, I have a tendency, I do it, I don't know if you paint portraits or figures, but I have a tendency to pull the face around. It's something that I know I do. I don't know if it's common. help to know your weaknesses too, I think. You know, you kind of, there's a little shadow by her foot. This foot is in the air. Good or bad, I don't know. And I've got her pretty close to the top. Trying to think how that feels. I mean, she is a doll. She's not a real person. So, you know, if she feels kind of stiff and awkward again, she's a doll baby, so. And the white dress would be good practice too. Kind of creepy right now, and I think what we'll do is we'll mix up some flesh tones. And a flesh tone, if you haven't ever done it, can really be just about any red and any yellow, sometimes blue, and of course white. Some people do burnt sienna and yellow ochre. That's a common one. You know, but again, this is not a real person, so I'm trying to look at her and decide. Her flesh tone may be more yellow than a real person. Sorry, I'm getting tangled up here. I didn't lose you, did I? Okay, so let's mix up. I'm going to take some red and some yellow again. I'm going to get me an orange and throw some white in. Which is very orangey, you know, and if it's too warm, then you would cool that down with a little blue. And of course, white lightens and cools. You know, and then you can scoop it up and hold it out toward the doll and try to compare, you know. And this tone is going to throw us off too, I can tell you that right now. And I wouldn't have to tone, but I like the warm tone. And if you're going to do this and pre-mix some flesh tones, I would pre-mix some different values. Maybe a light, medium, and a dark. You can even throw some crimson in there, like say a little blue. Just play around. It's never a worry. If it doesn't work, especially with oils, you can wipe it off and try again. So I'm just playing around with a bunch of red, yellow. Like I said, I even threw a little blue in. I'm sorry, I probably should have done some of this before I went on. Not very exciting for you. Got a little tiny pug nose. Very subtle. And hopefully what really makes her feel like a doll is these really bright highlights that she's got on her cheek and her head. And so let's start getting some flesh tones in there. Her whole face is pretty lit. She's kind of facing the light, so don't really have a... I mean, this side is brighter, but not a lot. I'm trying to look at her and decide that. And I promise you this is not going to look right because of this tone on the canvas. That looks very green right now to me, and how it looks to you. It is a little lighter on her eyelid. You know, and it might be fun, you know, to rosy up her cheeks a little bit. She is a doll after all. Like I said, the little nose, there isn't a lot of detail. It gets a little cooler as it turns away from us. It was all about the face when I did her the other 2 times, obviously. You know, you just try things. I'll be doing her again, and I may consider doing her in a still life like my friend suggested. There's that small space between her lip and her nose. Trying to squint and look for subtle differences. In fact, what I might try, I haven't really used them much. I bought a pair of these red glasses. Eric Rhodes puts them out, value specs. The lenses are red, and the idea is you look through the lenses and it lets you see value. Maybe those would help me. Let's see. I'm just going to put them on to look at her, see if I can see some differences in value. They'll really be useful, I'm sure, outside. And as I look at her and put them up and down, it is a little darker over here. So let's darken that up a little bit. Again, if we don't get it right, we'll wipe it off till we do. And we'll keep these close and decide if they're helpful. If you're struggling with value, there's lots of things you can do to help yourself. Do value studies, you know, just paint in value, and then, or when you do paint in color, photograph it and convert it to black and white, and then if you're painting from a photo, you can convert that to black and white too and compare. Kind of feel like I wished I'd have moved her down a little, but she pretty much fills the canvas, so I could paint her a different size next time. Okay, I'm looking at the space between where that dips in for that curl and we hit her eye. Try to get that right. And the cheek does look a little pinker. Yeah, we went, finally got out of the house Saturday a little bit and went up to a town north of here, and we went into this antique mall, like I said, and nobody in there is wearing masks. And for the first time since all this, we actually went out to dinner. There's a restaurant there where you could eat out on the patio. It felt pretty safe. Who knows, right? She's got a little unusual kind of ear that's catching a little light. We'll decide how that reads. Features are really tiny when I'm painting her this size, so we may have to get out a little brush to help us out. I can barely see a couple little nostrils in there. And we need to run some of this flesh color up into her head, because I see it up in there. I'm just kind of suggesting some hair. I'm sure I'll be coming back and playing with this. I started painting with one of my groups inside last week. We started meeting again. Don't know if I mentioned that, but we're all wearing our mask in, and then once we get seated to paint, we're staying, one person per table, so we're staying away from each other, and once we get seated, then we're taking our mask off if you want to. I can't paint 4 hours in a mask, so I just pull up and down, keep it on my neck, so, because at some point we got to get back out, don't we? So, let's take our little tiny brush and we'll, boy, the nostrils, you can barely see them. Really red little mouth. Hard to tell not that it matters particularly what color the eyes are. Needs to be more about value than color. She's got those kind of eyes that, you know, open and close. My daughter has a big Halloween party every year, and she has a collection of old dolls, but they hang them in the trees to scare people. I don't think this gal's scary. I think she's sweet. Guess I wouldn't have bought her if I thought she was scary, right? Putting in the white of the eye, but for now I'm not doing it very light. We'll decide if that reads. I just picked up some white and mixed it into something there on my palette so I didn't get it too bright. Trying to paint at the value of what I see. Now, are there catch lights in her eyes? A little bit. Not intense, but okay, let's move on. Maybe while we're working in the flesh tones, we'll go ahead and paint the limbs in. And when I paint the background in, I'm going to really look at like the distance from the eye to the edge. You know, I'll really look at the shape of the cheek. Those kind of things, in case and it's really early here, but let's just, for the heck of it, throw in the highlights that we see. Sure how I feel about this unusual shaped highlight there. We'll think about that. All right, let's move on down, like I said, to the arms. Let's put in, there are some areas of the arm that's pretty dark. Let's make sure I got it right first. Yeah, throw out suggestions to me if you think some props that would be cute in a setup with her. Like I said, I thought about a little sweet teacup and saucer. I have lots of things available to me, so you know, some people do kind of a themed setup, so yeah, throw your suggestions at me. And if you do comment, please tell me where you're from. I'd really be interested to know that, where people are commenting from. The internet's wonderful in my opinion. I know it has its drawbacks, but you know, the fact that we can get to be friends with people all over the world, and it's pretty cool. I watched a couple really good artists in Australia. And her dress is going to have to come out there a little bit. I do know again that this orange throws everything off. Till we get that painted, that background in, it would be hard to judge everything. I showed you the two heads I did of her, and the one has a warm background and the one is more of a gray background. I think I need to do more warm backgrounds. I think it's more appealing. A while back I brought out a bunch of paintings. Somebody suggested you do that and kind of critique your own work and bring them. So I carried out about 20 paintings and to see if there's something maybe you're doing over and over that you do like or something you don't like. And one of the things I noticed is one of the still lifes that I had put on Facebook that got a great response had a warm background, and most of them had a cool kind of gray background. Just got me thinking that maybe people prefer that warm color. Maybe it's just a lot more appealing to the eye, you know. And I don't get this too chalky. I debated what to paint tonight. When I got to playing around with her, I wanted to do her, of course, but I'd like to do a nocturne again soon, and I've got some references of some white ducks too I've been considering, though I have painted a white duck on here before. Trying to shift the value some as I go from left to right so it doesn't feel flat. Yeah, this hand looks like it's got a little thumb sticking up. Oh, maybe on the finger too. Yeah. The thumb is out and the finger's out, though it doesn't matter if I paint it that way. But let's go down and do her little legs. Now, is there any darks in there? Got a little bit of dark above the knee. Not too much. This leg is much darker on the edge. Just get a couple dimples in each knee. Okay, I'm looking at these feet again. This foot's here. Actually, this foot's up here. I've got it down a little low, comparing it to where the other one is. This would be like everything we do, you know, we'll get it blocked in and then we'll do the background and then I'll come back and adjust where I need to, value and color. These feel pretty dark and right now, but we'll see. Look at them little socks. Putting in the dark part of the socks first. You know, and will they feel like socks or shoes or I don't know. I'm just trying to look at shapes and value. I may have this one down just a little too low. Kind of feel like little white shoes, and that's okay too. All right, the dress. All right, this is, like I say, going to be a good lesson in whites. We're going to put in the darks where we see them first. I'm going to switch to a bigger brush. Using brushes by Rosemary and Company. They are made from, if you can see that even, come out of the UK. Very nice quality brushes. I would recommend them. All right, so we're going to just look at this and we're going to put in the darker colors where we see them. As you can see, the color I was using was fairly blue, and now I'm switching and I put a little alizarin crimson there just to change it up. Got a little pink band across there. Alright, we'll just try to block in these shadows where we see them. Painted a family of geese today. That was kind of fun. I know a lot of people don't like them. They're such a nuisance. But I got a great photo last night of them up in the park. Looked like a whole family of them walking out on the pavement. Mom and Dad and 2 young ones. Probably not smart to paint things people don't like, really, I guess. Like I paint a lot of birds, and I painted several blue jays because they are a beautiful color. But I don't think people like blue jays. I haven't sold any of them. And I think that's why. I sell a lot of cardinals, but people just don't like them. All right. Now we'll go somewhat lighter, but not as light as we're going to go. Get somewhere in between here. She's got like a little collar up here. Saying it's like a puzzle, you know, just block in the pieces and eventually hopefully it comes together. Okay, let me put my glasses on for value, make sure I'm seeing this correctly. This to me is the lightest, brightest area, and on the sleeves or some, of course, the collar. Just want to make sure these are kind of handy, yeah. Tricky to paint in them. You have to put them up and down, up and down. All right, now let's mix up something fairly light. Maybe a warm white. The lightest part of her. Now I know that doesn't feel white. I mean, that's yellow and white. It's against this orange. Unless, let me clean my brush just to be sure, but that's what I grabbed. I am bad about not washing my brush enough. But this tone throws colors off. I've learned that because I paint on this tone a lot, and it will make colors look different. All right, I am taking an orange and white. That's it. So let's see what it looks like on there. Let's wipe this off just in case I had it polluted, because it does look, you know, does look blue. That's all I've got on here is like a orange and white that I had. It does look more yellow, doesn't it? So I did have a little bit of dirt in my brush. I'm going to do the center of it for now and kind of stay away from the other colors till I get the cleanest whites in. If that makes sense, so I don't pollute it. I mean, I don't mind mixing color in at all, but trying to keep it a little pure. Kind of suggesting some of the pattern that's in the dress too. Alright, let's think about the rest of this. If you're not an artist and you're just watching in, does it make you want to do it? Oh, gosh, it's fun. I highly recommend it. I don't know what I'd do with myself if I didn't paint. Smaller brush out here. And this needs to be lighter, but it's going to obviously intermix with the color that's under it, and that's okay. I did keep it a little darker. there, a piece of ribbon, pink ribbon across there. Trying to see how everything's reading. With this dark over here on the edge of her leg, it makes her leg feel smaller than it is. It's a little bit chunkier like that. I've got a brush clip on my easel, which I love. It's easel, can you see it? Easelbrushclip.com. It's excellent. It has 2 containers for brushes and clips. It's just wonderful. You take it outside, inside. But I also have I'll show you, somebody bought me this one time. It's just a wire ball, and it holds your brushes too. And I've got it sitting there. It's kind of, I find I stick them in there and I put them in the clip, and yeah, it's a handy thing too. Otherwise I lay them down and I end up rolling into my paint. And I still do that even with all this. Trying to push that up a little bit. A few more of these shadows that I see. All right, let's think about, oh, we need to get something on this little box she's sitting on. You know, that could almost be like a block, couldn't it? It's just a little square cardboard box. is what it is in reality. So we'll just mix up a brown color. And one side is darker than the other. This back here is a little darker. The other side's a little yellow, a little more yellow and lighter, catching more light. I see that she's casting a shadow on it, which would make sense, wouldn't it? It is that little thumb stick out, you know, probably not. The shape of this as I'm doing it. This comes down more like that. Maybe we'll darken that a little bit too. Up a little higher on her. I don't think I mentioned it, but I'll put a link to my website in the description box, so you can visit my website if you would and check out more of my work. I'm always adding new things on there. Just did today, added a few things. Suggesting a little bit of pattern. Thought it might make this a little more interesting. There's like a bit of a stripe in the dress, but I need to pay attention to which way it runs so it makes sense. right, let's think about the background color. I did talk about keeping it a warmer color. I'm going to show you these two again and show you what I'm talking about. I do a lot of still lifes, and I mean, this is a still life, but I tend to mix up kind of neutral grays. The nice thing about that is it does make your colors stand out more. See, this is the one that I did, and see the warm background, which is kind of appealing. And then the second one I did, like I said, I did kind of more of a neutral kind of gray tone. So I was looking at them thinking the warmer tone, I think it's kind of nice with her face. So maybe that's the way to go. You know, maybe, let's see here. I think we'll mix up all three primaries like like I usually would for a gray. But we'll do a warmer gray. See if this is too dark. It's fairly dark, isn't it? Yeah. Which some of that might be nice. And then we'll lighten it up. I like a palette knife to at least, even if you don't paint with a palette knife, it can be nice to get some paint on the canvas. All right, let's see where this runs across. About in there. Sorry, that's jingling around like it is. I tape the panels on there with packing tape. I roll it up and put it behind, and usually that works pretty good. I actually did put some fresh tape on there, but it's still jumping around. All right, let's look at the shape of this baby's head as we do this. Again, this is a chance to look how close to the edge, how much space I have from the edge of the eye to the edge of the head. It's fairly close. And then the little cheek puffs out. We'll look at it again and decide what edges we need to come back in and clean up. And I'm feeling like, well, I've lost the edge of that collar, and I'm feeling like that chin's a little low too. So we'll get this in first, then we'll come back and work on that some more. See, and I sketched her in, if you remember, with a kind of dark paint. And I may leave some of that. I mean, again, she is a doll. As I see it there, I kind of like it, so. jingling around. Here, put my finger on it, right? Not sure why it's doing that. And I probably should put more thought into, I just set it right on my table, and I don't really want to paint that, so what color would be good down there, I wonder. Let's think about that. There's a, actually a little shadow kind of under a foot here. And there's a little shadow here. I feel as though maybe I want to separate the wall from the floor. Sometimes I don't worry so much about that, but I'm already tweaking here what I see. It's more of a shadow there. We've got to come back and fix that shoulder. I kind of lost it. That's okay. All right, so let's think here. In reality, of course it doesn't matter. When I put the glasses on, the value's close to that. I don't want it to be distracting, so maybe we'll just make it a little cooler. I don't know, we'll see. That's pretty dark. Let's lighten it up. You know, because right now that shadow doesn't stand out. Let's put some of this up here too. I don't want the color to feel too isolated. All right, let's see what we can do about fixing her shoulder up there. It's her cheek about right there. see I need to take the shadow color and cut into it right here because her arm feels a little awkward. You know, again, she's not a real person, so let's look to see where she has highlights. One there, one there. Gosh, I'm not seeing much on this arm. I'll have to look at that again. One here, and here, and there. I say she has little dimples in her knees, which maybe we'll put in. Kind of suggest them. Yeah, I'm not seeing any, unfortunately, but I may put them there anyway. Highlights on this arm. Let's see about brightening up a few things now. It's a little dark. She's got kind of eyelid collar, you know, little holes in it. I did kind of suggest that in the other painting. I'm looking at things here, trying to get back a little bit. I do have a, I don't know if you've ever seen one, it looks like a magnifying glass, and you can use it while you're sitting close to your painting, and it gives you a view of what it looks like from a distance. I don't know if you ever used one of those or not. I actually should use it more. Another one of the things I own that I don't use much. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, she looks a little maybe fatter than she is. We're about to give it up here, I think. I was just debating if there's any place else that I felt needed to be a little brighter. One thing that I could do, and you know, I could, and I might a little bit, but let's fart around with his hair a little bit more, you know, so it feels like more like what it is. I don't know. It's kind of like a molded hair. You probably know what it is. All right, I think we're gonna give it up. You know, when you could mess around with the hands and put in little fingers. I don't see it tonight, but one of the things I did see the other night when I kept doing her face was a little highlight on her lip. So we're going to put that in. Alright, so I'm looking at her from my angle, seeing if, looking at the shape of the head. And again, you know, I'm sitting here painting. It would do me better to stand and paint. Let me get up and back up away from it, if I can do that without knocking you over. I didn't. Well, the fact that I have a microphone attached to that has something to do with it, doesn't it? Hang on. Alright, you're getting another look at the baby, aren't you? Let's get away from her, look at her. She feels just a little awkward to me, a little something off with the position maybe. See, I had her kind of sitting back. Her body kind of rolls back. So maybe a little tweaking yet, I'm not sure. So, good challenge. Yes, feels a little something off there. I'm going to keep working with it a little bit, but I won't keep you on here any longer. But thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe, and then watch for me next time. If you hit that notification bell, they'll let you know then when I post a new video. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it.